Ladies and gentlemen, are you tired of being overwhelmed by negativity? Do you feel like life's problems have stolen your joy, your hope, and your strength? In this message, we're going to deal with the root of it all, how to force yourself to stay positive when everything around you feels dark. This isn't just motivation, it's transformation. And it starts with the mind. There is a battle happening every day, not in the world around you, but inside your own heart and mind. A war between hope and despair, between light and darkness, between giving up and getting up. You were not born to live in negativity. You were created to overcome it. But it won't happen by chance. You have to force yourself to stay positive. You have to choose it, fight for it, protect it. This is not just about smiling through the pain. This is about real power, a mindset that refuses to bow to fear, failure, or frustration. So let's go to the root. Let's get our minds back. Your mind is the birthplace of every action, every decision, every emotion you live through. It is where battles are fought long before they're seen in the real world. You can lose a war without ever stepping onto the field if you've already surrendered in your thoughts. Most people don't realize that the real war isn't around them, it's inside them. They think circumstances break them. They think people destroy them. But what really brings defeat is the silent agreement made in the mind to accept fear, failure, and negativity as permanent. The mind is not neutral ground. It will not sit idle. It is either building you or breaking you. The voices that speak to you in the silence, the ones that tell you you're not enough, that you can't change, that your past will always define you, those voices grow louder the longer you let them live unchecked. And make no mistake, those voices come from darkness. The kind of darkness that doesn't just make life harder, it makes it hopeless. The kind of darkness that blinds you to the opportunities in front of you and chains you to the pain behind you. But here's the truth. You are not your thoughts. You have the power to choose them. And just like you can feed your body junk or nutrition, you can feed your mind fear or faith. The battle begins the moment you open your eyes in the morning. Your brain starts speaking before your mouth does. It whispers worry, doubt, regret. It reminds you of what went wrong yesterday and convinces you it will all go wrong again today. That's where most people lose. Not in the afternoon, not after the bad news, not after someone betrayed them, but in the very first moment of the day, when they let their mind lead them into the pit instead of lifting them into purpose. You have to force yourself. And yes, I said force, to take charge of your mind. This is not passive. This is not automatic. You don't drift into a positive mindset. You fight your way into it. You don't wait to feel strong to be strong. You speak strength before you feel it. You declare light even when all you see is darkness. You train your mind to obey the truth, not the lies it's been comfortable living in. Some people say, "But I can't help the way I feel." That may be true, but you can help what you feed. You may not choose the emotion, but you choose the response. You choose what you allow to grow. If you feed fear, it multiplies. If you dwell on every negative comment, every mistake, every failure, those thoughts become strongholds. They dig trenches in your mind and start to define your identity. But the same is true in the opposite direction. If you begin feeding truth, if you speak life over your day, if you reject the thought that tells you you're defeated and replace it with the thought that says you are equipped and called to rise, then the light begins to break through. It's not that darkness disappears overnight. It's that your mind begins to resist it. And when your mind resists, your life follows. Think about it. No one gets fit by going to the gym once. You don't learn a skill by practicing occasionally. You get stronger through consistent resistance. That's what renewing the mind looks like, intentional, daily resistance against the patterns of negativity that want to dominate your thinking. Don't believe the myth that some people are just naturally positive. No, they're trained. They've been through pain just like you. They've walked through dark places just like you. But they chose to keep reaching for the light. They didn't wait for the atmosphere to change. They changed it in their mind. They fought the voices. They stood their ground. And they spoke truth until it started to sound louder than fear. Let me tell you something. You cannot have peace in life if you do not win peace in the mind. Every storm that shows up on the outside is multiplied or minimized based on what you believe about it on the inside. This is why people can go through tragedy and still have strength, while others break under smaller weights. It's not the size of the storm. It's the strength of the mindset. You want to change your life? Start with your thoughts. Watch what you allow in. Guard your focus. Cut off the toxic thoughts like you would cut off a thief from your home. Because that's what negativity is, a thief. It steals your joy, your peace, your energy, your purpose. It doesn't knock before entering. It doesn't ask permission. It sneaks in through comparison, criticism, and self-pity. And once it's in, it builds walls around your heart and convinces you that escape is impossible. But that's a lie. The walls can fall. The chains can break. But only if you take action. Only if you rise in your spirit and declare, "Not today." Only if you stand in the mirror and tell yourself what is true, not what is familiar. Only if you feed your soul light, not darkness. Only if you understand, this mind is mine, and I refuse to let it be ruled by fear. This world will always give you reasons to worry. Social media will always show you something to envy. The news will always bring bad stories. People will disappoint you. Life will test you. But if your mind is anchored, if your thoughts are guarded, if your perspective is rooted in something unshakable, then you can walk through all of it and not be moved. You'll still feel things, yes. You'll have low days. But the low days won't define you anymore. The shadows won't control you anymore. Because you've trained your mind to reach for the light. Asterisk, there is a power inside of you that most people overlook. It's not loud. It doesn't shout. It doesn't sparkle. It doesn't demand attention like fear does. It whispers. And yet it has the strength to break anxiety, to silence depression, and to calm storms within. That power is gratitude. And when life feels heavy, when negativity surrounds you, when your thoughts are being pulled into darkness, it is gratitude. That becomes your greatest weapon. Gratitude doesn't need perfect conditions to grow. In fact, it shines brightest in the midst of hardship. It thrives in seasons of uncertainty. Because when you choose to be grateful, even when things are falling apart, you are declaring something powerful that your circumstances do not control. Your spirit. That joy is not something the world gives and takes. It's something you choose to protect from within. Most people believe they'll be grateful once things get better. They say, "I'll be thankful when I get that job, when I find peace, when the stress goes away, when I finally have what I've been waiting for." But what they don't understand is that gratitude isn't a reward, it's a discipline. It's not something you feel when everything is right. It's something you train yourself to feel even when everything is wrong. That's what separates those who live in light from those who drown in bitterness. Every day, life gives you two lenses to look through, one of lack and one of abundance. You can look at what you lost or what you still have. You can focus on what's broken or what's still holding you up. You can dwell on what didn't happen or give thanks for the breath still in your lungs. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring pain. It means refusing to let pain be louder than purpose. There is no such thing as a person who is constantly negative and also constantly grateful. Those two things cannot coexist. Gratitude silences complaint. It forces your eyes upward when the world tries to keep your head down. It takes the same situation that would cause one person to give up and gives another person the strength to push forward. And the difference isn't in what happened, it's in how it was seen. Gratitude is the filter that rewrites your focus. Asterisk. Even in moments where everything seems to be going wrong, there is always something to give thanks for. You're still here. You've survived every day you thought you couldn't. You've made it through heartbreak, rejection, failure. And you've grown because of it. You've gained wisdom. You've learned who you are. And you've found strength you didn't even know existed. Gratitude looks back at that journey and says, "I may not be where I want to be, but I thank God I'm not where I used to be." People think gratitude is a feeling, but it's not. It's a focus. It's a mindset. It's something you have to force yourself into sometimes, especially on the darkest days. You may have to dig deep to find something, anything, to be thankful for. But once you do, it's like striking a match in a cave. That one small spark begins to light up what you couldn't see before. And the more you practice it, the more automatic it becomes. You begin to walk through life with a different posture, no longer waiting for peace, but carrying it. Gratitude also destroys the lie of comparison. Because comparison thrives on what you don't have. It feeds on jealousy. It whispers, "You're behind. You're not enough. Look at what they have." But gratitude replies, "I'm already blessed. I already have more than I deserve. And what's for me will find me in due time." Gratitude takes your eyes off everyone else and helps you focus on your own lane, your own growth, your own journey. It frees you from the prison of always needing more to be satisfied. You can't be both bitter and grateful. You can't be jealous and grateful. You can't be anxious and grateful at the same time, because gratitude resets your emotions. It speaks to the soul. It reminds you of the goodness in the ordinary, the beauty of a sunrise, the gift of a conversation, the quiet strength in simply being alive one more day. And sometimes that alone is enough to get through. The truth is, negative thoughts will always try to creep in. You'll always have reasons to complain. There will always be something not going right. But if you wait for everything to be perfect before you give thanks, you'll never taste real peace. Gratitude isn't for the easy days, it's for the battle days. It's what gives you the courage to keep going when the weight feels unbearable. It's what shifts your perspective when you're feeling scream that nothing will ever get better. Some of the most powerful people aren't the ones with the biggest platforms or the loudest voices. They're the ones who've learned to give thanks in the quiet, to whisper hope in the dark, to smile through the tears because they know joy isn't based on conditions, it's based on convictions. These are the people who walk through storms with peace, not because the storm isn't real, but because their gratitude is stronger than their fear. If you ever feel overwhelmed by negativity, pause, don't rush, don't react, breathe, and then begin to count what you're thankful for. Not just the big things, the small ones too. The ones you usually overlook. The ones that seem insignificant. Because it's in the small acts of gratitude that great peace is born. It's in the quiet recognition of what's still good that inner strength is renewed. And when you do that daily, even when it's hard, you begin to build a fortress in your mind that negativity cannot easily break through. Gratitude doesn't erase the pain, but it gives you the strength to carry it differently. It lifts your eyes when everything around you tries to keep them down. It softens the heart before bitterness can harden it. And most importantly, it reminds you that no matter how bad today looks, there is still something in it worth praising. Gratitude is not a suggestion. It's a strategy. It's not a decoration for life. It's the foundation for survival. Your words carry weight. They are not just sounds or syllables thrown into the air. They are seeds, and every seed has the power to grow. You speak, and something starts to form. It may not be seen immediately, but over time, what you say will shape what you see. That's why you must become intentional about the words that leave your mouth, especially the ones you speak about yourself. Because long before anyone else can encourage you or believe in you, it is your own voice that will determine the direction of your mind and the condition of your heart. Most people underestimate the influence of their inner dialogue. They think it's harmless to joke about failure, to casually speak words of defeat, to echo the lies they've heard growing up or in seasons of pain. They say things like, "I'm not good enough. I'll never change. That's just who I am. Nothing ever works out for me." And they don't realize those are not harmless statements. They are declarations being planted into the soil of their lives. And like any seed, those words will eventually produce a harvest. The world has enough voices trying to tear you down. Don't let your own be one of them. There are critics on every corner. There are people who will speak doubt over your dreams, people who will question your potential, people who will remind you of your past. But when your own voice joins the chorus of negativity, when you speak words that limit your future, then the damage goes deeper than anything others can do to you. What you tell yourself becomes what you believe. And what you believe becomes how you live. If you walk around constantly reinforcing negative beliefs through your speech, then you're giving power to the very chains you're trying to break. You can't speak death and expect life. You can't curse your journey and expect it to feel purposeful. You can't constantly complain and expect joy to grow in your spirit. You must shift the way you speak, because every word is either a weapon against darkness or a doorway to it. Even in silence, your words matter. The things you mutter to yourself when you mess up, the names you call yourself in private, the sentences you rehearse over and over after rejection, all of it is shaping your self-perception. And the longer you speak from a place of fear or shame, the more your mind will agree with it. You can be in the most promising season of your life, but if your words are filled with defeat, you won't be able to enjoy it. That's how powerful speech is. It frames your experience, it sculpts your emotions, and it either lifts your soul or loads it down with more weight. But here's the good news: you can change it. You can take control of your words and use them as tools of construction rather than destruction. You don't have to lie to yourself or deny your struggles. But you can choose to speak with hope, with courage, with life. You can say, "This is hard, but I will not quit." You can declare, "I've failed, but I am not a failure." You can remind yourself, "I don't feel strong, but strength is being built in me." Those aren't empty words. Those are battle cries, and they make all the difference. When you begin to speak life, your mind starts to align with what's possible instead of what's painful. Your words begin to redirect your focus. You stop magnifying the problem and start magnifying your purpose. You stop speaking as a victim and begin declaring the resilience that's already inside you. It's not just about positive thinking. It's about powerful speaking, words anchored in truth, words that challenge fear, words that lift the atmosphere around you and the environment within you. There's a reason ancient wisdom teaches that life and death are in the power of the tongue. Because a single sentence can shift an entire day. One phrase can build someone up or tear them down. Think about it. How many lives have been changed because someone said, "I believe in you"? How many hearts have been broken because someone said, "You're not enough"? And what about the lives that were never fully lived because a person repeated to themselves day after day, "I can't do this"? You may not control what others say about you, but you can take full authority over what you say about yourself. You can interrupt the cycle of self-sabotage. You can stop agreeing with the voice of fear and start agreeing with truth. You can wake up and speak with intention. "I am loved. I am chosen. I am here for a reason. My past will not define me. My mistakes are not the end of me. I will rise. I will grow. I will overcome. That is not hype. That is healing. And over time, those declarations build a mindset that is rooted, grounded, and unshakable. Your voice matters more than you realize. In moments of discouragement, speak encouragement. In moments of temptation, speak truth. In moments of chaos, speak peace. Don't wait to feel strong to speak strong. Your words are not the result of your strength. They are the builders of it. And the more you speak life, the more your mind will begin to believe it. The more you speak hope, the more your spirit will rise to match it. You don't need a perfect life to use powerful words. You need a willing heart, a renewed mind, and the decision to no longer let fear speak louder than faith. There will be days when speaking life feels unnatural, when the darkness is loud and the doubt feels overwhelming. That is when your words matter most. That's when you stand in the mirror and speak what you don't yet feel but know to be true. Because every time you speak life, you take back territory in your mind. You reclaim ground from fear. You silence the inner critic. And you begin to rebuild the broken places, one word at a time. Your future depends on the words you speak today. Your relationships, your confidence, your peace of mind, they all follow the direction of your speech. Choose your words like your life depends on them, because in many ways, it does. Speak as if your soul is listening. Speak as if your breakthrough depends on it. Speak life, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you who needs to hear. A voice of hope in a world that's filled with noise and negativity. Speak life until it becomes your nature. Speak life until your environment shifts. Speak life until every part of you begins to believe that no matter what happens, light still lives within you. Feelings are real, but they are not always reliable. They shift like the wind, they rise and fall like the tide. And if you allow them to steer your life, you will never find solid ground. One moment you feel strong, the next you feel broken. One morning you wake up hopeful, the next you wake up discouraged. This is the nature of emotion. It moves. It's unpredictable. But the mistake many people make is building their lives around their feelings, allowing their emotions to define their identity, their worth, and their direction. That's why so many struggle to stay positive, because they are trying to build joy on a foundation that was never meant to support it. You cannot build a stable life on unstable emotions. You have to anchor your positivity in something deeper, something unshakable, and that something is truth. Truth doesn't change with mood swings. Truth doesn't rise and fall with circumstances. Truth remains when everything else feels uncertain. And when your mind is filled with doubt, when your heart is weary, when fear tries to take the lead, it is truth that pulls you back to center. It is truth that reminds you who you are, what you carry, and why you still have purpose even in the midst of pressure. Faith is not a feeling. Faith is not a mood. Faith is a decision, a choice to believe in something greater than what you currently see, something deeper than what you feel. When you live by feelings, you will constantly be at the mercy of your emotions. But when you live by faith, you begin to rise above them. That doesn't mean you ignore how you feel. It means you don't bow to it. It means you acknowledge your emotions, but you don't let them write the story. You don't let them call the shots. There is a quiet strength that comes when you live by truth, a calm in the middle of chaos, a confidence that doesn't come from what's around you but from what's rooted within you. And that strength is built when you stop asking your feelings for permission to move forward. It's built when you say, I may not feel like it, but I'm going to keep going. It's built when you declare, this anxiety doesn't own. I'm me. These fears don't speak for me. This discouragement doesn't define me. That kind of strength is forged in moments of pressure, in the fire of disappointment, in the valley of waiting. We all want to stay positive, but positivity doesn't mean pretending life is perfect. It means choosing hope even when life feels heavy. It means holding on to truth even when emotions try to pull you under. And that's where faith comes in. Faith is the bridge between what is and what can be. Faith says, yes, I feel low, but I won't stay here. Faith says, I'm afraid, but I will act anyway. Faith says, this pain is real, but so is my purpose. If your sense of peace is based on how you feel, then peace will always be fragile. It will disappear the moment things go wrong. But when your peace is built on truth, the truth that you are loved, the truth that you are not forgotten, the truth that your pain has a purpose, then even in the middle of struggle, you will stand firm. Not because you feel strong, but because you know you're standing on something that doesn't move. Feelings often scream louder than truth. They're louder, but they're not more accurate. Just because you feel like you're failing doesn't mean you are. Just because you feel alone doesn't mean you're abandoned. Just because you feel weak doesn't mean you lack strength. That's why you must constantly return to what's true, not what's loud. Your mind must be reminded daily of what doesn't change. And that's not just motivation, that's protection, that's armor. That's how you guard your heart from being overwhelmed by every shift in emotion. You weren't created to be controlled by feelings. You were created to rise above them. That doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you don't live by what you feel. You live through it. You walk through the sadness. You face the fear. You acknowledge the disappointment. But you don't let those feelings dictate your decisions. You don't let them drag you back into old mindsets. You don't let them keep you from moving forward in faith. Your feelings are valid, but they are not your voice of truth. They are signals, not sentences. They are indicators, not identity. They tell you what's happening inside, but they don't get to define who you are or where you're going. That is the role of truth. And truth must be louder in your life than anything else. When your emotions shout, let truth whisper louder. When the darkness presses in, let truth shine brighter. When fear grips your heart, let truth break the chains. There will be days when you wake up and everything inside of you says, I can't do this. That's when you speak back with faith. That's when you say, this is hard, but I am not helpless. This is painful, but I still have purpose. And those words, those declarations, begin to realign your heart with what's real. The real you is not the one who doubts. The real you is not the one who feels stuck. The real you is the one who rises, the one who speaks life, the one who walks in truth even when it hurts. Faith is not loud. It's not always emotional. Sometimes it's just a quiet, stubborn decision to keep showing up, to keep moving forward when nothing makes sense, to keep choosing light when darkness feels easier, to keep trusting that the valley is not forever and the breakthrough is still ahead. That's what it means to anchor your positivity in truth. It means holding on to something deeper than your current state of mind. It means looking beyond the moment and choosing to believe that goodness is still chasing you. It means waking up and deciding, no matter how you feel, that today is still a gift. It means not waiting for peace to arrive, but carrying it into every room, into every thought, into every challenge. Because when your mind is anchored in truth, your emotions may bend, but they won't break you. Your feelings may fluctuate, but they won't run your life. Your days may be heavy, but you won't collapse under the weight. You'll rise, not because of how you feel, but because of what you know. You were never meant to live at the mercy of your emotions, your circumstances, or your environment. The power to stay positive, truly, deeply, unshakably positive, does not come from the outside. It is forged in the quiet places of your mind, in the unseen battles of your thoughts, in the daily decisions to choose light over darkness, faith over fear, truth over feelings. This isn't surface-level optimism. This is war, and it's a war you win from within. You've learned that the mind is a battlefield where victory begins with what you choose to believe. You've seen how gratitude is not a luxury but a weapon, the very force that allows you to rise above despair and unlock joy in the middle of the storm. You've come to understand that the words you speak have the power to either build your soul or break it, and your voice, your own voice, must be the loudest one calling you to rise. And you've now anchored yourself in the truth that feelings are fleeting, but truth is unchanging. That faith must lead, even when emotions scream the opposite. This is how you force yourself to always stay positive, not by pretending life is perfect, but by building your mindset on a foundation that doesn't crack when life does. Not by waiting for the world to encourage you, but by becoming the voice of encouragement to yourself. Not by chasing perfect feelings, but by standing firm in truth that outlasts every emotion. When you live like this, you become a light, not only for yourself, but for everyone who watches you. Because in a world drowning in negativity, fear, and noise, a mind rooted in truth and a heart filled with hope is the most powerful force there is.